Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this rush hour of September 18, Wednesday. I'm Riza Diaz. Now that heinous crimes convicts are deemed exclusive or excluded from the early release under the new and improved GCTA law, church leaders and relatives of the affected convicts appeal to government. What about those who have truly changed for the better? Jen Kalimon has the report.
The husband of Dolores Pangilinan, convicted of kidnap for ransom case, has been serving his sentence at the New Bilibid prison for 26 years. Dolores' husband is now a pastor, and she was looking forward to his early release under the Good Conduct Time Allowance law. But the revised implementing rules and regulations of the GCTA disqualifies convicts of heinous crimes, like Dolores' husband, from reaping its benefits.
Ang tinitingnan kasi nila, nagbago naman kami. Hindi man kami ganun karami siguro yung nagbago, pero may nagbago eh.
Members of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines or CBCP fear that inmates who were previously promised early release may react violently to the revised IRR.
Magkakaroon ng pagkaburyon yung mga bilanggo, magkakaroon ng depression, and psychologically ang effect nun will be to inflict harm on themselves and probably to others. Kasi ano pa ang purpose ng rehabilitation mo?
Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption or VACC founding chairman Dante Jimenez urges Congress to revise the law entirely and only disqualify those convicted of murder.
Yung iba, pwede lang ma-enjoy yung GCTA. Pero kami kasi, hinahawakan din namin yung paniniwala, nasa Biblia din yon. Kung i-argue mo dito ang Biblia, na ang kabayaran ng pinatay mo ay buhay din. Sana naman, magrespetuhan tayo, lalo na yung respect of the rights of the living.
The CBCP seeks to appeal the revised IRR after consulting with stakeholders. Reporting for News 5, Jen Kalimon, we are One News.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered the Justice Department to fast-track the release of old inmates. Duterte said that convicts who are 70 years old and above already have a hard time moving, let alone commit another crime. However, he acknowledged that some prisoners might not even wish to be released, especially after spending decades inside the jail.
Hindi na marunong mag-hold up yan. Hindi na makatakbo yan. O kung takot ka pa kay serial rapist, ipaputol na lang muna mo dyan sa foundry nila bago palabasin.
Duterte also turned his attention to ex-police general with a so-called hand in illegal drugs, former Daan Bantayan, Cebu Mayor Vicente Loot. Duterte says he ordered the ambush of Loot last year and is surprised to still see him alive. Loot's name was included in Duterte's narco list, but the former official denied the allegations.
General Loot, nanalo pa ng barangay mayor. Kung inambos kita, animal ka, buhay pa rin. General mo.
Duterte also struck the Lopez group of companies once again, saying the conglomerate has dues left unsettled. Duterte claims aside from unpaid taxes, the company still has debt to the Development Bank of the Philippines.
Pagkatapos ni Marcos, they borrowed money sa DBP. Kaya ang DBP gumanon eh. Tagal na rehabilitate. Humina. The Lopez group of companies never paid a single centavo. It was condoned by the government. Who condoned it, who authorized it, I really do not know. But maybe one of these days I'll start to dig. Why do you have to give away money to people who are rich? Tapos mag-publish ng mga newspaper with all their protestations and all their grievances for the poor and for... It's hypocrisy. Lahat yan sila. Pati newspaper. Alam mo na kung ano. Kaya ako, galit ako.
Former jail warden charged for a bombing incident in Parañaque is now taking over the BuCor's top post. Marcel Halili has the report.
There's a new BuCor chief in town. And no, this time, he's not from the military, but a former jail warden. And like his predecessor, BuCor's new Director General, Gerald Bantag, has been involved in a fair share of controversy of his own before assuming post. Bantag was charged with murder in 2016 after supposedly throwing a live grenade at the Parañaque City Jail that led to the death of at least 10 inmates. But President Duterte says Bantag should be presumed innocent until proven guilty.
He was charged with for the crime of murder, but it was downgraded to homicide. And since there is no conviction yet, in obedience to the rule of the presumption of innocence, I gave him a new job.
Duterte does not believe Bantag had any bad intention in the incident. He adds that no other suitable candidate for post is available as of the moment.
I don't think that he did it. If he did, then baka mag-convict siya. But in the meantime, gusto ko siya. Kasi nagtatapon ng granada. Daw. Kasi sinong ibigay mo, pati si Santo. Gusto ko nga magkuha ng Santo. Wala naman. Garon rin.
For Duterte, Bantag's job description is simple.
Marching order is to guard and so that they will not escape. That's why it's a penitentiary. All the things that you have observed along the way, all the things that are being obnoxious or repugnant to the public, huwag mong gawin.
And should Bantag fail in his new position, Duterte has this to say.
I'll just talk to him. Sabihin ko kung hindi mo kaya, ikaw ang ipako ko sa cross dyan sa gitna ng compound.
Malacanang backs Duterte's choice of replacement for ex-BuCor head Nick Faeldon, saying Bantag has competence and honesty to put to the table. Senate President Tito Soto likewise welcomes the appointment, saying Bantag's reputation as a strict enforcer is what BuCor needs. Senator Bongo, on the other hand, says Bantag may strike some sense of fear into troublesome inmates in the country's penitentiaries as well as to corrupt BuCor officials.
Siguro, yung mga drug lord dyan sa BuCor, kung nanonood kayo, sige po, magpa-admit na kayo sa mga ospital. Tagalan nyo pa. Para mas magandang dyan na kayo magpahinga sa loob ng ospital. Magpa-dextrose kayo. At magdasal kayo kung bakit di na kayo magising.
For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
And here are the biggest stories from the dailies. Bangko Sentral told Business World that the drone attack on some of Saudi's oil facilities could increase inflation even if the trend of market prices remains the same. The BSP believes that the inflation will stay within this year's target, but economists say this will depend on how fast Saudi can recover from the attack. Meanwhile, News 5 reports that Meralco consumers have nothing to worry about, at least for now. That's because the company is expecting that the impact of the attacks can only be felt at least 2 months after November.
Yung impact naman nun ay mararamdaman pa sa November, perhaps, dahilan nga yung quarterly repricing will be done. So, wag po tayong mag-alala. If the supply is robust, if the supply is more than adequate, therefore yung presyo sa spot market hindi masyadong magkakaroon ng pagtaas yan.
Now, beware of fake LPG tanks that could burn your houses down. Filipino Star Ngayon reports that a marketing group is urging the government to crack down on fake LPG cylinders bearing the brand Speed Gas, particularly in Pangasinan and Laguna. Now, these fake tanks are allegedly from China and did not undergo mandatory safety inspections in the Philippines. The local government of Marikina is offering a 200,000 peso reward for the information that will lead to the arrest of those responsible for dumping off dead pigs in the river last week. The Philippine Star quotes Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro in saying that the reward comes from his own pocket. Teodoro says criminal and civil charges would be waiting for those people that improperly disposed the dead swines. Authorities have started to take water samples from the Marikina River to check the possible contamination. Now, for the first time in Philippine history, the Senate held a hearing on divorce and a dissolution of marriage. But with opposing sides representing or presenting valid arguments, would it ever be enacted into law? Mean Los Baños with the story.
Unprecedented, as it is the first and probably the last hearing on divorce in the Senate. So the divorce law advocate, Senator Risa Ontiveros, went all out in bringing all kinds of people and their stories. A teenager preferring her parents divorced rather than living a chaotic life together. And there is Stella, a woman who married at 18 after getting pregnant and was in an abusive relationship with her husband for years.
Kumuha siya ng itak, pinagkakabas yung buong bahay namin. Inangga ko yung itak kasi natatakot ako matawain yung mga anak ko. Lagi kang sisisihin, sasabihin sa'yo, bakit? Pinipilit niyo lang naman ako mapakasal sa'yo, di ba? Magtiis ka.
It took her 5 years to get an annulment and spent more than 100,000 pesos.
Nagkaroon ng hearing, laging napupuspon. Minsan nga ako na nagpaparemind sa kanila kasi hindi nga nila inaasikaso.
Cases like Stella's prompted Ontiveros to push for an absolute divorce bill and dissolution of marriage. Under such law, the separation of married couples will be less expensive. There will be more grounds for divorce, such as irreconcilable marital differences, abusive relationships, and marital rape. Annulment does not allow these. It only allows a few cases including psychological incapacity, which is costly for the plaintiff, humiliating, and very difficult to prove in court.
The dissolution of marriage bill is pro-marriage, pro-family, and pro-children. It makes us respect marriage more by being more discerning with our choices in life. It protects children from abuse and rebuilds broken families.
But religious groups stress that divorce is not the answer.
Marriage is not being legislated by the state. It is being legislated by the divine order of God. And anyone who destroys the divine order of God destroys mankind.
The Psychological Association of the Philippines says divorce is the solution for dysfunctional marriages. But Alliance for Family Foundation cites several studies where divorce negatively affects the well-being of children.
To spare the parties from totally wrecking themselves and one another. When a marriage has become dysfunctional and the parties contribute to the psychological deterioration, damage, and even harm and injury to one or the other of the spouses, it is incumbent upon the state to provide a decent way out of such a toxic environment.
Children who experience the divorce of their parents are likely to suffer adverse effects on their academic performance, physical and mental health, with an increased possibility to be exposed to drug, alcohol, and even sexual abuse.
The Coalition of Concerned Families of the Philippines, however, says God can still make a way for reconciliation even to painful relationships.
Walang problema ang mag-asawa na hindi kayang ayusin ng Diyos Ama. Kaya hindi natin dapat tuldukan ang kanilang pagsasama.
Senator Sec Joel Villanueva, meanwhile, says he will instead support an amendment to the annulment law so that it will be more accessible to the poor. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
Some LGUs have suspended classes for today, still due to bad weather. In Pangasinan, there are no classes in all levels in both public and private schools in Aguilar, Bugalyon, and Mangataram. Now, the same goes for all schools in Macabebe, Pampanga. Now, over in the Visayas, classes up to senior high school in Iloilo City are likewise suspended today. And just moments ago, classes in all levels have also been suspended in Bamban, Kamiling, and Paniki Tarlac, while classes in preschool to elementary are suspended in Angeles City. Now, today's weather is not only because of the habagat, but also because of two other weather systems inside the Philippine area of responsibility. The low-pressure area off the coast of Batanes has developed into tropical depression Nympha last night. Now, as of 3 in the morning today, Nympha was spotted at 670 kilometers east of Basco, Batanes, while moving almost stationary. It will bring light to moderate rain over the provinces of Batanes and Cagayan. Nympha is also expected to exit PAR by the end of the week. Now, another low-pressure area is now within the vicinity of San Jose, Tarlac. This is enhancing the effects of the habagat or the southwest monsoon. And speaking of habagat, monsoon rains will prevail over central Luzon, Mindoro, and Palawan. Sea travel remains risky today, especially for small boats over the northern and eastern seaboards of Luzon due to possibly rough sea conditions. Metro Manila and southern Luzon will also be affected by the habagat, while trough of the LPA will affect northern Luzon. Flash floods may occur in some areas. Now, the southwest monsoon will also bring rain to western Visayas, but cloudy skies due to localized thunderstorms will prevail over the rest of Visayas and Mindanao. And this just in, La Paz and San Miguel in Tarlac also suspended classes in all levels today, and same goes for Leon in Iloilo. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again next time for another round of Rush. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.